All right, let's get started. Let's get started with the topic of the week. Benevolent.
The topic du jour.
Topic du jour. Right. Topic de night. De soir.
The soir.
What's benevolent sexism?
Benevolent sexism. So, I think in days gone by, it would have been referred to as chivalry or gentlemanly behaviour. But I was...
Being polite.
Yeah, being polite and courteous to the fairer sex. And
you've spoken about stuff like that before, like, you know, there's the husband and the wife might be at home or whatever, and you do things for your wife. You buy flowers.
That's right. You do things to make her happy from time to time, because you spend most of your life doing things that just wind her up.
You don't know anything about that.
No, nothing about that at all. So I'm listening to this academic whose name now eludes, Beatrice... Bernice, I can't remember what the surname was, but she was being interviewed about how men who act in a chivalrous manner are being sexist, even though they don't realise they're being sexist. And she has coined this term, benevolent sexism. And the problem with benevolent sexism, according to this academic, is it puts women on a pedestal.
And
can you see that? Like, you can see
and that. Hang on, that's bad. Hang on, that's
meant
to be bad, right? That's meant to be bad.
I think so.
Yeah.
So those of us who are that little bit old-fashioned, us putting women on a pedestal is a bad thing, because subconsciously, even though they might not be thinking about it, we're effectively telling them that they're not competent. So
is that what the idea is?
So by opening a door, it's not just a polite gesture, it is our way of telling a woman that she's not capable to do things.
Is that what the academic's saying?
This is what this academic is saying. And I'm just thinking to myself, if...
I opened the door for my dad yesterday. Is that wrong?
Well, it's ageist.
How dare I?
That's right. Is your father no longer capable of operating door furniture?
I was just being nice.
No.
Am I allowed to be nice?
No, you were telling your father subconsciously that he was no longer competent to operate a hinged contrivance.
You and I just talking in sarcasm. That's all our banter is. It's just sarcasm to and fro. That is...
Well, like we often say, I mean, we really could be doing this from either of our kitchen tables. It really wouldn't matter, because nobody ever calls 906-920-87.
Yeah, what does everyone think about this benevolent sexism that Harry's talking about?
As a
woman, do you like the door being open for you? Do you like your husband bringing you flowers?
You know what? I think there's more to it than that. What this academic, what this woman was saying, and again, I just assumed her gender.
And why is woman an issue? Why can't it be? Oh, it can't be a man saying it, can it?
Well, first, if a man was to say, like, if you and I are having this conversation, say, well, we can't see anything wrong in treating the women in our lives, or women that we interact with, even if it is just that fleeting single gesture of giving up your seat on a train or a bus, or opening a door, or whatever it is. Yeah. You know, we shouldn't be doing that, because we wouldn't be doing that for a bloke. But I think there's a deeper issue that we're not this sort of stuff doesn't address, and that is, if we don't train our boys to look after our women. And I remember listening to a lecture by Ben Shapiro, and he put it really eloquently. And that being that if we don't teach our boys to be gentlemen, when a bloke does something bad to a woman, then You can't complain about that. Do you understand what I'm...
When a
Getting
bloke does, you can't complain
So if you
about...
don't want men to look after women...
I'm having
you don't
trouble
want
with this
men-
whole issue.
Is it- well,
because it's all...
Because
it's
basically
all-
feminists hate women.
It's all back to front. I
There you
mean,
go.
what is wrong with doing something nice for somebody?
I'm putting it out there. Feminists hate women. If you disagree with me, 90692087.
Feminists hate women.
Feminists hate women. You know, we had the most tragic example happen in... We've had two of the most tragic examples happen in Melbourne. One, Jill Maher, and two, Eurydice Dixon. Right?
What happened?
Two young women decided to walk home on their own.
Yes.
And came to a terrible end. Right?
They were separate incidents.
Separate incidents.
Yes.
Right?
That was the one up in near La Trobe Uni.
One up, I think, Sydney Road, and one in, was it Treasury Gardens or the gardens around around the exhibition buildings.
Okay.
Wherever it was. Right? Now, people started jumping up and down
Because
they were attacked by men. And let's just be blunt about it, attacked by bad men, at least one of whom should have actually been in prison at the time. But no one was asking the question, where were the men in their lives that should have turned around to them and said,
Yep.
no, I don't care how independent you think you are, you're 65 kilos wringing wet, and if a Gruyser Meshuggah comes along, you stand a snowflake's chance in hell of defending yourself.
Right.
I am going to walk you home and
Yes.
make sure you get there safely.
and that
with
sounds
no-
very normal, Harry.
With no...
Why doesn't that shouldn't that sound normal?
With no ulterior motive than just making sure my friend,
Yes.
whether it was Jill Maher or whether it
Yes.
was Eurydice Dixon,
Yes.
gets home safely.
Okay.
You know, I mean, look, you've got daughters.
And I've got and
Right,
that's
you've got
exactly
daughters.
where where I'm thinking now.
I've got sons.
Yep.
Right? Now, if our kids went out together
Yep.
and I found out at any point in time that my boys left your girls to just walk home, as safe an area as we live in,
You give them a kick up
I'd-
the tuchus.
kick their tochuses from here to the middle of next week.
Right.
For the very reason that my boys, Kanana Horror, are 6 foot tall and they can handle themselves, right? Your girls are petite little things that really, if there's a Meshuggah running around, they would not stand a chance,
Yep.
right? But now we've got academics trying to tell our boys
That's a good point, Harry.
not to look after anybody,
Yep.
right? And effectively, we're supposed to be bringing up a generation of animals. Because if we don't teach our boys to be the protectors, then who is going to be? Who is left? And there's no one.
It's a sad state of affairs that we live in.
And what sort of miserable, sensible, shoe-wearing person do you have to be?
Rug nibbler?
Carpet puncher?
No, you're not allowed to say that.
I don't know. It's
No,
after
screw it.
9 o'clock.
It's after 9 o'clock.
It's after 9 o'clock. I'm allowed to say that.
not
Sensible
exactly-
shoe-wearing carpet muncher.
You're
Do
not
you have to
exactly
be to say it is
swearing.
wrong to put women on a pedestal?
Why do you think it's particularly lesbians?
I'm just using it as a euphemism.
It's an anti-feminist. Or is it a
No,
pro-feminist? I don't even know what it is anymore.
I'm telling you, to be a modern-day feminist, you have to hate women, you have to
And
hate
the-
femininity, you have to hate everything about
standards
the
and
traditional roles
conventions.
of women. And today, you know, it was different back in the 60s, 70s, you know, equal pay for equal work, whatever, the glass ceiling, yada, yada, blah, 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 right? But today it's got to the point where you have to be anti-marriage, anti-motherhood, anti-stay-at-home mum. You know, you've got to literally poo-poo all the traditional roles
Yep.
that women have held throughout the millennia.
Not, mind you, we completely support women's rights to all their rights
You
and
could go and
complete
That's right.
As an individual,
you can go and do
you do
whatever you want to do.
But
right?
we're completely entitled to say that it's okay for women to also have the door held open for you.
Yes.
To be polite.
Yes.
And what we consider reasonable.
And the most important job they can do, the most important contribution they can make to any society, not just the one we live in here in Melbourne, Australia, is to actually raise their children to become worthwhile, productive members of the society that they are going to be leaving behind.
Excellent.
Not this whole slash and burn, tear down the system and the patriarchy and all that other garbage. So what's next? I'll get off my soapbox.
No, that was good. I think you said everything quite reasonably then.
Thank you.
And that'll be a great soundbite when we split up the video.